Here we are in London, and the distinct pleasure to be talking to KRIS Barras. KRIS, welcome and hello. It's a bit grey, but yeah. And your intention at the end of this week is to light it up.
Yes, 13th of September, new album out.
Look at that.
Available from all good record stores.
And it's been quite a ride the last 18 months, 2 years, maybe even longer. So I was going to start there, and then we'll talk a little bit about where you've got to today, the new album and beyond. First time I think I saw you was in Rambling Man on the Rising stage, 2017. You made quite an impression, both on me, on the crowd, playing that song dedicated to your dad, Watching Over Me, with the real Gary Moore feel to it. What's your kind of perspective on having risen from the Rising stage, the blues stage, and then this year to the main stage?
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. I mean, for me, the first time we played on the Rising stage, it was kind of a pivotal moment in my career, really. Everything kind of snowballed on from there. I mean, I remember when I got the message from my manager that we'd be playing it, Rambling Man Fair, you know, it was something that I'll remember forever. I can remember the exact moment. And yeah, it's a great festival, and to be able to progress through each year to a bigger stage, it's been amazing.
And then more recently, I mean, you tour and tour, and you both tour with and have support with you. You had, and I kind of find it ironic that year you did the Rising stage, there was a certain Texan band headlining, and then fast forward to last year, you ended up in Supersonic Blues Machine with Billy Gibbons.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, that's obviously a dream come true for me. I grew up listening to ZZ Top, and to get to play, his songs with him on stage, it is amazing. And
I went to the show at Shepherd's Bush, which was a great show. But what I loved is the way that he just very gently just ambled on stage and became part of the band.
Yeah.
He was Billy, but he gave you a lot of space. What was that like? That looking out of one corner of your eye and seeing Billy Gibbons play?
Yeah, I mean, it's nuts. I mean, when he walks onto the stage, he's just got this aura around him. He comes on stage and it's like nothing I've ever experienced, really. The crowds just go absolutely mental, and he's just such an iconic guy, and he was really inspirational. Being around him on tour every day is, I learn something new every day.
And the great thing is that your performance on that tour has been captured on a live album.
Yeah.
Which came out, I think, in July through Mascot.
That's right. Yeah. So last year, I think it was actually just done off one show. I don't know. I think a couple of shows got recorded, and they listened back to it, and they just decided that it was half decent, and wanted to release a live album. So that was obviously very good for me, and I'm going to be going out to LA in January to record the next album.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, so that was going to be my next question in terms of your ongoing involvement. I know that Lance Lopez is doing his own thing.
Yeah.
Is he still involved, or?
No, so obviously, I mean, Lance is an awesome guy, and the first two albums, I'm a huge fan of both Lance and Supersonic Blues Machine. But yeah, he's moved on to different things, and he's got different stuff going on in the States now, and so it's my gig.
That's fantastic to know. So, any idea of what might come of those sessions? Is there kind of a date in mind?
No, I mean, January's just the best time. It's kind of where everyone's least busy.
Yeah.
I might be doing some bits and bobs at the NAMM show out there, so it kind of just all ties in. So yeah, I mean, I've had some demo tracks sent over from Fabrizio, and he really wants me to put my own stamp on this, and wants me to send some of my ideas, and I think we're going to be having a little bit of a get together. Not physically, but over the internet, in December time. We'll try and work out some ideas, and I'm really looking forward to it. It's nice to be involved in a different project.
It's kind of like a busman's holiday, because I know between now and then you're incredibly busy. So let's talk about the new album, because I know it's been a labour of love, and with the success of the previous one.
Yep.
The divine and the dirty. So, do you feel more divine and less dirty?
It's all about that. Yeah, I mean, that album obviously has done really, really well. It's exceeded our expectations, and you know, I've just been grateful to the fans really picking up on it, and we've had a fair few successful singles on there with, you know, airplay on Planet Rock and BBC Radio 2. Yeah, I mean, with the new album, I feel like I'm kind of just carrying on like a progression from Lucky 13 to Divine and Dirty. There's definitely, you know, slight. There's always the blues influence there, but a steer away from like the stereotypical blues rocky things that so many people are doing. Bit more rocky, but then I just think I've just carried that on with Light It Up. It's not necessarily like a conscious decision. I wasn't like, oh, I'm going to do a rock album. It's just kind of like happened naturally, and I went into the studio. We had a good solid 4 weeks, and I didn't feel like I had to conform to any genre. I wasn't, oh, I need to do this to make it bluesy. I just did what I wanted to do, and you know, hopefully people will like it. The response to the singles that we've released so far has been fantastic. So.
Yeah, I've given it a few listens, and there's certainly, like you said, there's a sense of continuation from that. But I was going to make a few observations, if I could. The lead track, What You Get, that's got a real anthemic, if I dare say, Hail Mary vibe to it.
Yeah, I think What You Get's probably, I'd count that as the most stereotypical KBB kind of song. It's got the twangy riffs, the slide, big chorus, like you said, like the Hail Mary vibe. Yeah, that's probably like my most stereotypical song for the sounds that we've become known for with Hail Mary, Lovers and Losers.
And I really like the second track, Broken Teeth. It kind of, does it hark back to MMA days, or did you manage to avoid getting hit?
Also, the tagline in that being, I ain't ever been afraid of cracked knuckles and broken teeth. And yeah, of course it's got reference back to my old MMA days, but you know, how I used to approach fighting, I wasn't afraid to get hurt, like, you know, to get the job done. You know, some broken bones and broken teeth weren't ever going to stop me, and I've kind of tried to use that mentality in life too, you know, like metaphorically, not afraid to get my hands dirty and to push through to get to where I want to be.
Yeah, and I think what those of us who go to a lot of gigs and just follow music know that you've worked damn hard to get where you've got to today, just by the amount of touring, the different venues, the small venues, the bigger venues that you ended up playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's the way to do it. You know, I do this, I love writing songs. You know, the studio thing for me, it's not necessarily like my favourite, but my favourite thing is performing live. That's why I do this. I love to be out on the road. I love performing my songs to people that want to hear them, and yeah, you know, that's these days in particular, you know, that's the key to having a successful career, is to be out there on the road doing it.
And if there's an overall thing I took from the sound of the new album, there's a bit more swamp. There seems to be a little bit more of maybe Texas in there. Am I right that I heard some banjo in the background on Broken Teeth?
Yeah, there's a couple of banjo tracks in there. We did put a little bit on Broken Teeth. We just doubled up the main riff kind of thing, and on 6 AM.
That was the other one, yes.
Yeah, it's not.
That's got a great solo in it as well.
Yeah, John. Yeah, I'll come back to that one. It's not actually banjo. It's banjitar. So it's a 6-string, it's strung like a guitar, but it's a banjo. And that came about because Josiah, the producer, who's also my keyboard player, he had someone else in the studio a couple of weeks before, and he'd left some of his instruments there. And one of them was this banjitar. And I can't remember which one came first, but I think it might have been Broken Teeth. I wanted to put like a resonator to give it a twang over the top of the riff. So it's got like a quite busy slidey riff that goes over like the main riff into the chorus, and I wanted to like accent it just by overdubbing some resonator. And he actually said, "Why don't you try and play it on a banjitar?" I mean, it's weird. They're weird things to play, even though it's like strung like a guitar and tuned like a guitar. But yeah, I actually think it just helped. You know, it's not at the forefront of the track. It's just enough just to give it a bit of a twang. And you mentioned 6 AM, the same thing. Again, I wanted it to be a resonator thing. Josiah suggested the banjo, and it worked really well. And that solo for 6 AM, when we're doing that, I didn't have anything written for the solos, for any of the tracks. And Josiah just said, well, why don't you just do something completely different? Just go out there. And we put this kind of like, I made up this syncopated like tapping thing, and I've never done any finger tapping on any of these tracks before. And yeah, I want to just go out there and do something a bit different.
And also, one of the tracks I really like, this title track, which think you played that. You just set at Rambling Man.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that has kind of like swirling sort of Hammond type organ in the background.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember hearing so much on your previous stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the Divine and Dirty was a bit of a strange one, really, because that was all recorded before I got signed. So I funded that album myself, and because I was funding it myself, I didn't have much money. It was recorded in stages. You know, a lot of people haven't read the credits. They don't even realise there's 2 different bands on that album. 2 different keyboard players, same drummer, 2 different keyboard players, 2 different bass players. And people don't realise that, because I recorded it over a year, because that's just what once I got some money, I'd do 2 days in the studio. And Josiah came on right near the end. My keyboard player that I had at the time went back to teaching in schools, and I asked Josiah if he'd do the album and if he'd want to come out on the road with me, and he did. So he wasn't involved in any I mean, I write all the songs, but it was like this time round, he's been involved. You know, as soon as I've got a demo, I've sent it to him, and he's such a great player that it would be stupid to not have him showcase that. You know, and tracks like you said, Light It Up, you know, and Not Fading as well. He's got that real John Lord, Deep Purple thing going on, and yeah, it's great. I mean, he's a fantastic Hammond player, and so we wanted to utilise that more. And yeah, we do live, so let's do it in the studio.
From front to back, it's an upbeat, powerful album, but you do have a great, I call it a ballad, but it's more kind of a power, sort of slower song, in Rain. So, and that comes about midpoint in the album.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a hard one. I'd probably refer to it as a ballad. It's like a country rock ballad. It's got a bit of a country kind of tinge to it, and yeah, I really like that song. It's a bit different. It's not like anything I've ever written before. And I actually wrote that. I was on the way back from a gig, and it was hammering it down. I think we played like a festival, so I was driving back. I was chucking it down, and I came up with a tagline, "I'll be your roof in the rain." And I pulled over, and I thought, I've got to write that down so I forget it. Wrote it down on my phone, carried on going, and I kept thinking of more like lyrics, and I had a couple of melody ideas. I was putting into like voicemails. You know, it was like an hour journey home, and it ended up taking like 2 hours. So I kept pulling over to jot these ideas down. And I got in at early hours. I went to sleep. I was only asleep for about an hour and a half, and I just kept waking up, having like different ideas. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna get up because I'm liking what I'm hearing. And if I go back to sleep, I'm gonna get up in the morning. I'm just gonna forget everything. So I got up. It was about 6 in the morning, and I went downstairs into the lounge and shut the door so I didn't wake up my wife and my dogs. And I probably banged that out in like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It was done, and yeah, I don't know. It's kind of. I often find I'm most creative through the night anyway. So a lot of the album was actually written through the night. Don't know why. Maybe it's just time when I unwind a little bit. I've got a bit of a hyperactive mind, so I don't know.
Yeah, and although it's got a sort of rootsy, swampy feel to it, some of the songs they're very catchy and commercial. So in Rain, you've got some nice harmony vocals in there, which I hadn't noticed again from previous albums. And then kind of it's in the second part of the album, Counterfeit People. That really is quite an arresting track. I think, hang on, this should be further up in the album, but it shows the quality of the songs, the nesting all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, you know, I think if you put all your best songs at the start of the album, it's like an album should be treated as like a whole thing. And I think, you know, if you're going to go down that route and release an album, then it should represent an album. It shouldn't just be a list of songs where I'll put my best ones, you know, because people get bored by track 6, you know. I think people that are buying albums, they want that whole thing, you know, like the final track, Pride Is Forever. I just thought that was for me, it was the perfect way to end the album. It's got the big jam at the end, it fades out. And that was a track that I really wanted to put on. I wanted to have a song that had like a big southern thing, you know, let the girl backing vocalist like go to town. I wanted a big slide solo, and that's actually become one of my favourite tracks of the album.
So in terms of vinyl release, is there a vinyl release of the album?
Yeah, there's a limited edition marble finished Goldie vinyl. I can't remember, 500 copies I think they've done. And then there's a gold disc version too.
So I'm curious on that, if you can remember what's the first track on the different discs, kind of the must be like a standout when you flip it over.
Good question. I think it's Counterfeit People.
Brilliant.
Think. Because we had to drop a track off the vinyl. Wound Up isn't on the vinyl because it wouldn't fit the timings. So that would 12. That would imply that Counterfeit People would be the start of the B-side.
Which for me is a perfect choice.
Yeah, you were on the money there.
Perfect choice. And the final one I just make quick notes on is Bullet. I mean, it hits you like a bullet. But yeah, what inspires kind of some of the lyrics? You said a lot of it's late night writing. Is it because you're writing from a dark place, or you just have your imagination is
I think I just relax. You know, maybe it's having a couple of beers to help unwind, and I'm not sure. I mean, Bullet's kind of like a bit of a revenge song. You know, kind of around the theme that revenge is a dish best served cold. I mean, Josiah actually wrote the guitar riff on that song. It started off, he sent it over and said, I've got a guitar riff, I think it'd be cool if you want to do something with it. So we actually kind of co-wrote that one, and I think we might have been on tour with Beth Hart in France, and we were playing around with it. So I don't actually think I wrote that one at night time. It was in between like sound checking going on, and we were working on the melody and bits and bobs.
So the album Light It Up is out on Friday the 13th.
Yeah, spooky. I'm lucky for some.
Spooky. But pretty much straight after that, you are back on the road.
Yeah.
I looked at your tour schedule, and I think you've got one more date in the UK, and then you're off into Europe for a little bit.
Yep.
And then you're back in the UK in October.
That's right. Yeah.
So I was interested. Through the dates you've got some different supports. Have you played with those guys before, like Willie and the Bandits and Els Bailey?
I haven't played with them before, but so I know them. Willie and the Bandits are from down our way. They're West Country boys as well. They're Cornwall, we're Devon. I won't hold it against them. They're great guys. And Els Bailey, again, I think with both those bands we've kind of been on the same lineup at some point, but I've never actually played with them. Els I've met around at some different shows, and yeah, they're both great people. It would be cool to have them out on the road.
I was saying, with your Willie and the Bandits, and you're sat at tea time, and you've got scones. What happens with the cream and the jam?
Oh, that's it. I think there'll be some falling out there.
Play them the track Bullet, and then go okay, and back off. And I think you're doing a date with Kenny Wayne Shepherd. Yeah,
in Germany, Leverkusen, I think it is, on the 7th of November, sometime around the 6th or 7th of November. Yeah, I mean, that's going to be cool. I've never met Kenny Wayne before, big fan, so it'll be great to team up with him.
Yeah, so that kind of leads into, and I know you're also doing some stuff with Walter Trout, as it says on the on the wall there, so a few more dates there. Are there any other sort of guitarists and I guess Kenny Wayne is one of them, that you kind of like to do a Billy Gibbons with, like get up on stage and trade licks?
I mean, I love playing with different guys, and I got to play with Eric Gales recently, and that was just like mind blown. He's the only person to ever I've had lots of guitar duels over the years, and I think I could probably hold my own against most people, but that guy, I mean, it's the only time I've ever been like, I don't know what to play. He'd do a lick, and I'd be like, I don't have an answer for that. And he's phenomenal. I wouldn't go for the easy option and say Joe Bonamassa. Obviously he's jammed with lots of different people. It would be great to get up and do something with him at some point.
And did you do the Blues Cruise this year?
I didn't know. Did the Bon Jovi cruise. It's a very different kind of atmosphere, I think. But I mean, I'd love to do the Bonamassa cruise. It'd be great if we could go on that next year.
Yeah. I mean, it would be a perfect platform for you, given what you did with Billy and then with the new album as well. So I look forward to that. And then really to round everything up, you've got Planet Rockstock at the end of the year.
Yeah, and it's
going to wind it up.
Yeah. Well, so we played there last year. We played on the New Rock stage. And it was great. The response was fantastic. It was absolutely packed. They said it was the first time they ever had to have one in, one out, which was really, really cool. So they've invited us back this year, and we were on the Saturday night on the main stage. So yeah, it's already sold out. It sells out every year. So I'm looking forward to that one.
Chris, it's been fantastic talking to you.
very
Album
much.
Light It Up, out on Friday the 13th. Everyone should check it out. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers.